So I take the example of Arun Khopar and actually put on my stopwatch because I don't even have a written paper. I'm worried that I just. Who said? 15 minutes?
Mike.
Ashok, I clocked 19 minutes.
20 minutes or less? 15, okay, fine. And let me make it 15 and then maybe if you can give me 5 to 3 minutes more just in case I need. So thank you. I won't say thank you. I just quickly wanted to say something that Anubhuti and me, we have हमारा एक department से I wasn't her examiner. It's just that we have we are in the same department. She was a PhD student. I just happened to teach there, and we do something what we call music studies. I don't know what it is. We don't teach people how to sing. We don't do musicology. So, but I don't know. We still puzzle about it. But we certainly listen to music. I think that certainly I can claim. So this is going to be a listener's response to Kumarji, really. So now let me begin with what Ashokji said when he began this thing. And I've heard him say this before, and I didn't know it was from Raghav Menon. I'd actually forgotten. So basically, he says that Kumarji is right in the middle. There is pre-Kumarji music, and then there is post-Kumarji music. I think it's a wonderful formulation. But of course, it's a subjective formulation. How should I put it? A different fan will put somebody else in the middle. If I am a Mansoor Ji fan, I say Mansoor Ji is the most important. Kesar Bhai fan, Kesar Bhai fan. So it's a subjective thing. But however, I don't think you meant it quite that way. At least this is my reading. I think we can think of it as a thought experiment. And just imagine that if we put Kumarji in the middle and think about our music like this, maybe we can think about our music history differently. I think that opens up wonderful possibilities. So you did mention that my training is in history, so I am going to talk a little bit about music history. And I'm going to do two things you asked everybody not to do. A little bit of personal sense, and also just move away from Kumarji also. So I hope you don't mind. Right? So let me just begin by saying, since there is such an august audience here, that Kumarji for me exists only in recordings. I know because obviously I say this as a historian, because somebody will say, I don't know, because I have no access. I grew up only listening to what? His LP records. Nothing else was available. Let me tell you, in the 1970s and 80s in Delhi. I've only heard him once or maybe twice, I think. And then, if you remember, I have to share this because with great excitement, Music Today brought out 4 volumes of his, remember? And it's interesting because these are different phases of Kumarji, at least as one could see it. Whether they were chronological phases or not, I don't know. Right? So the Music Today recordings of, say, Marco, Shri, Impalas, I forgot the other, Chamuri, it's a different kind of Kumarji from the one which you see in his LPs. And I have a personal sort of how should I put it? My relationship to those LPs are very deep. I find that Kumarji the most important, most accomplished Kumarji. And later when I was reading Vaman Deshpande's long and lovely essay, V.S. Deshpande actually says 1965 when he publishes Anuprak Vilas, and then post that was his most creative period. This is the time when these LPs also come out. I think 1967, 70, 71, I was trying to look out. And the LP which I absolutely have listened to, I don't know how many, 1,000 times, this wonderful cycle of ragas, which is, it's Kalyan, then Kalyan Shri, Shri Kalyan, and then Puryadhana Shri, and then Gauri Vasant, and then that lovely song, Rangnath Shanti. It's just absolutely out of the world. And so the reason I'm telling you this is that when I listened to it, I wanted to understand it. I said, what is Kumarji really trying to do? Is he trying to say something? This is a cycle of ragas, which are obviously, the Paraspar ke rag hain. And maybe he's trying to tell us something about this music. But I have to say, that's why I'm going to comment a bit on music writing and the history of ragas. That when I started reading on Kumarji, true that there was a lot, perhaps the most written about musician, and Swar Mudra is a very good example, these 2 volumes. But the fact is that most of the writings I realized were actually related to, because people felt a kind of connection to his Nirguni bhajans. That was the one that was celebrated. I didn't find that much on Kumarji's Gayaki at really. And in fact, about this LP, I have found nothing. I have to tell you. Nobody comments on it. I think that was Kumarji's most amazing offering. It was like publishing a book. He was trying to say something. And then subsequently another LP which I read and I absolutely love, which is the first LP of Balgandhar, Maja Maja Lele Balgandhar, right? And all those wonderful songs there. So what can we? So what I did, I started looking up, and of course there are some essays, and so I will pick up the thread from what Anubhuti was saying, which is that so there is Chetan Karnani's essay, very critical. Then there is Vamanhari Deshpande's long essay, very interesting, because I just talk about it for a minute or two, because he seems to be appreciating Kumar Gandhar, but not quite agreeing with him. And it's a long essay. It's 60 pages. It just keeps going on. And then I read a very interesting essay by Ashok Ranade. Fabulous essay. So that also has very insightful comments on the nature of Kumarji's khayal, let me say. This is what I really wanted to really explore, really understand. Now I'm just going to do some personal reminiscing because I want to make a point, which is that at the time I was listening to Kumarji, I was also listening to Mallikarjun Mansoor. It so happened that Mansoor used to come to Delhi a lot in the late 70s and 80s. I was very lucky to listen to him. And the generation before me, that is my parents' generation from Calcutta, would always cough. So I would come back feeling very enthusiastic and say, Kumarji ka ye suna, wo suna. And they would just laugh and they said, tumhe kya pata? And then they would say things like कि तुम्हारा मंसूर जी बिहार गाता है, बागेश्वरी गाता है, दरबारी गाता है, and then would come the punchline कि मारवा गाता है, and clearly they were thinking of these ragas sung by somebody else. I know what they meant. They actually meant Amir Khan, and that kind of singing. And it is true that the phase in which I heard Mansoor ji, he didn't sing these ragas. So I used to always worry. I said, "Kya hai? What is it?" And their thing was कि नहीं चल रहा. So I tried to make it link. And then I met some other people who know music. So for instance, Sheila Dhar would tell me कि तुम्हें किराना समझना है तो पूरिया कल्याण सुनो ध्यान से. They will you need to understand what the Kirana people really try to do. I remember meeting my friend Kalidas, and he said, "You want to understand Agra, you have to understand Chindoti, because Agra has a special connection with Chindoti." I remember going to meet Sumati Mudadkar ji. I had the temerity to just land up in her house, and I said, "मुझे आगरा के बारे में बताइए." And she said, "आगरा, हमारे आगरा की खासियत है जोड़ राग." I was completely surprised. I thought she would say हम मर्दानगी गाते हैं और हम नोम तोम करते हैं. Nothing, not of that sort. So what do we make of this really? So I got a sense, I don't know, I'm just placing this, that there is the raga and the gayaki are closely connected in our performance practice. And not only that, I'm going to say that I think raga, gayaki and khayal. So there is the nature of khayal is also intrinsically linked in the way we think about ragas. So that's why this question कि वो बिहार गाते हैं, वो बागेश्वरी गा सकते हैं वगैरह वगैरह etc. You know. Now look at Kumarji. I mean that's what now come to Kumarji again. So fascinating. For years I was desperate to listen to Dhumbi Tarana Tappa. पर मिलता ही नहीं था, कोई देता ही नहीं था. ना अब तो YouTube में है. So great democratization influence मिलता ही नहीं था. Finally कहीं से पुणे से मुझे किसी ने दिया कहीं से CD. सुनना है मुझे सुनना है. And then he begins to listen to it. It's there in YouTube now. He begins by saying मैं ये पेश कर रहा हूँ और जो ठुमरी है वो मध्य लय है और जो तराना है और जो टप्पा है उसको मैं ध्रुत मानता हूँ. He has already formulated a kind of khayal. You listen to it, it's so wonderful. I mean, that Des Bandish Nanora Sambadi, or his wonderful reinterpretation of Chabdik Raja in a completely tapal, which you can see. So, what I'm trying to say is that Kumarji was thinking about a different history of Khayal. He was connecting to another strain of Khayal, which for some reason, for whatever reason, seems to have become less popular. I would say that the idea of Khayal that we have now as history in a historical sense is what I would call the Khayal, for want of a better word, a kind of consensual Khayal, which is that wo Khayal hai, uska bada khayal hoga, it has to be sung with a certain level, it must have, as Satyajit was saying that, you know, and even Anubhuti was saying that it must have certain kind of architecture, certain kind of structure, that, you know, it must slowly sort of, you know, go step by step, what Chetan Karnani calls gestalt, and so on and so forth. So, but really, that all I can say is that's just one kind of khayal. The history of khayal tells us something else. You'll be surprised. And I just want to briefly, before I end, just tell you a little bit about the history of khayal. I think we really need to know about it, need to think about it. जो हमारे ख्याल की जो हिस्ट्रीज जो लिखे जाते हैं, आई एम सॉरी टू से, बट दे आर वेरी वेरी डिसेप्टिंग. आई एम क्वाइट टायर्ड ऑफ रीडिंग देम. वही पुरानी कहानियाँ और ये वो और वो. तीन चीजें मैं आपको बताता हूँ उसमें. एक मैंने कि एक ये है कि वन थिंग दैट वी हैव टू ब्रिंग इनटू आवर म्यूजिक राइटिंग, व्हिच समटाइम्स इज देयर, इट्स नॉट दैट इट्स नॉट कंप्लीटली, इट्स मिसिंग, व्हिच इज दैट इफ यू व्हाट वी लिसन टू and what we write are sometimes at a variance. So कुमार जी को सुनिए, you will find a different history of khayal. तो हम पढ़ते हैं तो वो पता नहीं क्या बोलते हैं, कुछ और लिख जाते हैं उसमें, मुझे तो समझ नहीं आता. मैंने जो ख्याल के इतिहास पढ़ते हैं, as if कि that's why always this charge against कुमार जी कि तुम ये नहीं आता है, और उनको ये नहीं करते थे, वो नहीं करते थे, etc. etc. The second thing, and this is very interesting, which is that if you look at because I am a historian by training, as I said, what is the source for the history? Most of it is oral history, but we actually have a very big source which very few people have used musically, which is recordings, 78 RPM recordings, especially from say 1900 to 1950. And if you look at that, some people have started working on it. So we just, if you look at that huge cache of recordings, a large part of it is raga music, and a large part of that raga music are recordings by Baijis, what we say. They sang Thupri, they sang Ghazal, they sang Geet, but they all knew raga music. If you listen to it, you can see by their training, right? What is even more astonishing is, and I've never found an answer to it, I've asked many people, if you listen to Thumris by them, Baharjan, Zorabai, even Maududdin, all their Thumris have towns. That has completely disappeared now. They were singing khayal. That was one form of khayal. It may not have been called quote unquote khayal, but so what? That is definitely a long tradition of listening that we music of khayal performance that was so important. And I think that Kumarji definitely drew on this. I mean, one of those lovely anecdotes in Shanti Hiranand's autobiography is that Kumarji jab Lucknow aate the, he never forgot to meet Begum Akhtar. So this connection, I don't know, there must be many other anecdotal histories that really sort of come out of it. Now, quickly to sort of wind up, my 15 minutes are over. So I just want to say that sorry. So the important thing that I was just putting forward is that let us rethink the history of khayal if we really want to understand Kumarji historically. I think this is very important. Instead of saying कि वो ये नहीं करते थे, वो नहीं करते थे, बड़ा ख्याल नहीं करते थे. And the second thing is, usually, you know, people make comments like कि कुमारजी जो थे वो avant-garde थे, radical थे, वो उन्होंने परंपरा को नया कुछ मोड़ दे दिया. I don't know what all these things mean, because the fact is that nobody ever asks, nobody ever sort of probes what parampara in music means, what modern in music means. We don't know. We just, as she was saying, we use it in a very descriptive way, right? And if at all we have to think about it, then we have to really think about how कि मैं ये कहूँगा कि कुमार जी इंस्टेड उन्होंने परंपरा को तोड़ा नहीं, वो अपने आप को बराबर जोड़ते रहे। और अगर आप अनुप्राग विलास को भी देखें, ना जस्ट एंड हियर, तो इट्स एक्चुअली अ ट्रिब्यूट टू भाटखंडे। दैट होल प्रोजेक्ट जो भाटखंडे का था, जिसके ऊपर देयर आर सम वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग राइटिंग्स ना, कि वो पूरा संगीत को रिफॉर्म करेंगे और उसके बाद पूरे एक बंदिशों का कलेक्शन पेश करेंगे। एंड आई थिंक दैट वाज वेरी मच पार्ट ऑफ कुमार जी's enterprise. He also interestingly, of course, took forward the Paluskar tradition, which is that he connected to Bhakti Sangeet in his own. I'll just stop here.